to the first episode in this series, Practice Smart, Advice and Guidance for Brass Musicians. I'm Steve Miles, and over the past 10 years I've been involved in music education in the United Kingdom, New Zealand, and now currently on the island of Bermuda. In this first episode, we are going to discuss the warm-up. There are several elements to brass playing, many of which are often forgotten about during the warm-up. Our warm-up should always include breathing, lips, tongue, fingers or arm for trombonists, and the brain. Breathing is something that we all do. We do it without thinking about it all day long and throughout all of our lives. But breathing for brass playing calls upon the same processes and muscle movements to be extenuated, and therefore we need to ease into this with a warm-up. We're going to start our breathing warm-up steadily and progressively stretch the lungs out as we progress through the exercise. Important thing to remember is that we keep our body as relaxed as possible, so that there's no tension in the neck or the shoulders, and resist the temptation to lift our shoulders up as we breathe in. Keep them down so that your body is nice and natural. We're going to breathe in over one beat, then out over one beat, then in over two, out over two, so on until we get to 12. Here we go. And relax. Next on our list is the lips. As you can see here, our faces contain many different muscles, some of them very small, but all playing their part from around the cheekbone area down in various ways, obviously depending on the individual's embouchure. Let's start by gently getting the lips moving, like this. We're just going to do a little horsey sound. So we take a breath in and then just let our lips vibrate. Now we're going to gradually try and tighten our lips and add a little bit more focus to the center of the embouchure. Next we're going to try and play a little tune, just using our lips. Although if you do struggle with this, you can use your mouthpiece. Just make sure that you're not pushing too much pressure between your mouthpiece and your lips. You can pick any tune you like, but for this purpose, for this example, we're just going to pick Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Now let's move on to the instrument. We're going to do a gentle lip flexibility exercise. So the important thing is to remember not to break the airflow at any point with your tongue as we change pitch of note. Here you go, up to 3. 1, 2. And the next line. 1, 2, 3. And stretching a little higher. Line 3. 1, 2. And finally, the last line. 1, 2. That may be enough for you, depending on how advanced your playing standard is and how much you've developed your range. But if you do need to stretch a little bit further, then let's do a couple more exercises just to do that and stretch that range out just a little bit further. 1, 2. And the next line. 1, 2. Now let's move on to the tongue. The tongue is a surprisingly big muscle, so we're going to start with a steady single tongue, and we're going to use just a simple major scale. The important thing here is to make sure that as you ascend through the scale, that you're articulating every note absolutely perfectly. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Now let's go a little further and increase the speed, this time using a mixture of quavers and semiquavers. Again, make sure that you're articulating each note absolutely perfectly as you ascend through the scale. 1, 2, 3. Next to the fingers, or arm if you're a trombonist. Again, we're going to use a simple scale for this. We'll start with a half scale. Make sure that you're pressing the valves down as firmly as you possibly can as we go up through the half scale and back down, or shooting that slide out absolutely lightning pace. 1, 2, 3. Now let's stretch that a little bit higher and we'll use the whole major scale. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to take away the rests, so we'll go back to our half scale. So just up and down the half scale, no rests. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to push the tempo a little bit, and we're going to move to semiquavers. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Last, and certainly by no means least, is the brain. Clearly the most important part of our bodies, and often overlooked when it comes to warming up. My favorite brain exercise is to transpose a simple tune. We're just going to transpose up a tone. So here's the music for a simple Kiwi tune, Hine e Hine. As I say, we're going to go up a tone or 2 half steps. A nice simple way to start our transposing exercise there and get our brain waking up. Here's the music in a different key, slightly more difficult this time. Again, we're going up a tone, 2 half steps. Have a good look at that key signature before you start. Well, that brings us to the end of our first episode and to the end of our warm-up. As you can see, all of the exercises and examples that we've used have been deliberately very simple. You can easily build from those exercises or replace them with exercises of your own or exercises which you've been given by your teacher. So enjoy your practice, but above all, make sure you practice smart.